Okay, well, we got that done, and now I got to get through. Well, hey, 2nd District, State Representative Andrew Barkis. And guess what? This is the first Barkis Breakdown of the 2024 session. So glad you could join me for a few minutes just to get an update on what's going on here under the dome in Olympia. As we get ready, well, actually not get ready, we're into the second week already. Can't believe it. Feels like it's been a month already. This is a 6-day session, which means we have a very condensed schedule to get everything we need to get done. Everything's in committee right now, voting some things off the floor, working on the budget and transportation. A lot to do, short period of time to get it done. But speaking of getting things done, started off the session pretty well. A bill I had last year working on the housing supply issue called House Bill 1245, was one of the very first bills on day one voted off the floor of the House. 94-4, lots of support to get that bill done. It's now going over to the Senate. It's going to get worked on, amended a little bit, some of the stuff we worked on over the interim, and hopefully we'll have a product that will get through the Senate, through the process, and signed into law. It is a critical component to the supply side issue of increasing housing in the state of Washington. Lots of housing policy again this year. I'm on the Housing Committee, working on some good stuff with some trailer bills to some of the zoning stuff we did last year, and I've got a great bill that I'm working on about shared housing units, a very interesting development concept for non-subsidized, privately developed housing. Pretty cool. But there's bad stuff too. We heard the rent control bill, or what they're labeling now as rent stabilization. That bill was heard in committee, exec'd out of committee. We all voted no, and for good reason. Rent control doesn't work. It's a bad policy. It's never worked in the jurisdictions that it's been implemented, but yet they want to do it here in Washington. It's kind of a theme around that with bad policy. We take a couple steps forward, we take many steps backwards. Rent control is not the solution. What is the solution is looking at different things that we can help those most in need. That could look like a voucher, some support programs, some tax exemptions for seniors and mobile home parks and other areas that need the help the most. Let's focus our energies there, not on penalizing the rest of the housing industry, the housing providers, with a bad policy like rent control. That battle is going to be forefront. It's going to be one of the key things that we're going to be working on over the next several days, over the next several weeks. The other thing is, you may have seen in the news, a lot of interest about some public safety policies. Not surprising on that either. Number one issue in the state of Washington, public safety. It's everywhere. Crime is on the rise, burglaries, property crimes, all the stuff we see everywhere in our cities. Last year I introduced a bill about graffiti because I'm sick of graffiti, and I know you're sick of graffiti. How? Because you've told me lots and lots of times, lots of emails and reaching out. Dropped a bill last year, didn't get anywhere, about increasing some of the opportunities for restitution through community service, so if people get caught, they can actually go clean the stuff up. Interestingly enough, that bill is going to actually be heard next week. Last year, they wouldn't even consider it. And maybe that's because of you. You have been putting the pressure on not only the legislature as a whole, but letting me know so I can let others know that these are concerning issues and you want things to change. And through legal sources in our legislation, we can do that. Another bill that got a lot of attention is a companion to that of sorts. It establishes a graffiti task force, tells the Department of Transportation and others to look at ways that they can abate it through other products, but also using cameras and prosecuting those that are actually doing it. Sound like another theme, right? Let's hold people accountable for the crimes they're doing in our state of Washington. And lastly, a couple weeks ago, you saw a protest on I-5. Shut down I-5 for almost 6 hours. Illegal protest, people blocking the freeway in Seattle. I've introduced a piece of legislation that would increase the penalties, the crime for doing that. Has nothing to do with free speech or the ability to protest. Really encourage you, if you want to do that, but there's a way and a process to do it legally that doesn't impede or put others at harm. This action last week was one of many times this has been done. This bill, what it does is increases the penalty to a Class C felony with a higher monetary penalty and jail time. You know, maybe if we add bigger consequences, people might think twice. Maybe if law enforcement had the tool to tell people before they were about to enter on the freeway that, hey, put another foot on here, you're going to be arrested, and you could face a Class C felony. Maybe they'd think twice before they step foot on the freeway. I don't know, but we need more tools. Law enforcement needs more tools, and we got to stop putting citizens of Washington State at risk like we saw with that protest. So that's a lot, you guys. I mean, it's only been a couple of weeks and there's a lot of policy going on. I've got my hands in many, many different things. We started the transportation budget. Lots of challenges there with ever increasing costs and lower revenues. Working on that every single day to try to get a good supplemental budget to keep things moving, to keep traffic moving, to keep the projects moving and everything else. Keep in contact with me. Caden says I don't have any more room on my schedule to take appointments, but if you really need to, we'll find the time, we'll make the time. You can come see me anytime here at the Capitol when I'm here. Subscribe to my email newsletter. It comes out once a week, gives you kind of the updates of what's going on. And of course, watch these Barkis Breakdowns here under the dome to get the most up-to-date of what we're doing. Thanks for watching another one. Thank you, 2nd District. And as I always say, it's an honor and privilege to serve the people of the 2nd District in the state of Washington.